How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word show to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word show, SHOW, to 33777. Text show to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 1.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. We've got to begin with the situation in Minnesota. You know, under the letter of the law, I think the president, just based on Tim Walz's statement, can actually use the Insurrection Act if he wishes to in Minnesota. I want to play you Tim Walz, and I want to set some parameters for you. This is just some of what the governor of Minnesota said last night. Well, if I can pause that, let me rearrange here to make sure the audio is working here on these clips. There we go. That should do it.
Tonight, I want to share another way you can help. Witness. Help us establish a record of exactly what's happening in our communities. You have an absolute right to peacefully film ICE agents as they conduct these activities. So carry your phone with you at all times. And if you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans, not just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution.
For future prosecution. He also talked about them being an invasion and you need to take action. While Tim Walz was speaking last night, an ICE agent was attempting to apprehend a criminal illegal alien, and residents of Minneapolis saw what was going on, picked up shovels and attacked the ICE agent, and then the illegal alien also began to attack the ICE agent. This is from the Department of Homeland Security describing what happened last night as they engage. Where did I have the story? Well, I lost the link to it, but essentially the ICE agent fired his gun, shooting the illegal alien in the leg. The ICE agent on the ground as people were pummeling him with shovels. I want to step back, and this is very important that we talk about some history. In 2016, there were a couple of police shootings, and it gave rise to Black Lives Matter. A lot of people think Black Lives Matter really started with George Floyd riots. No, it started before that in 2016. In 2016, Black Lives Matters was fired up over two police shootings, and in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, Democratic politicians started denouncing the police, and police officers in Minneapolis were then assaulted by a mob. Within a week, in Dallas, Texas, on July 7th, 2016, 5 police officers in Dallas, Texas were murdered by a sniper who supported Black Lives Matter. 10 days later, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 3 more police officers were murdered. In New York, police officers were burned in their car by someone Molotov cocktailing a police car in 2020 with Black Lives Matter riots. We're going to start seeing violence against ICE officers. Someone sympathetic to the progressive cause within the Department of Homeland Security the other day leaked the names of over 2,000 frontline ICE agents around the country with details of their families, their residents, and other information that progressives have decided to start sharing to docs, that is, to expose online their physical address where they live so that people can harass them. This is going to escalate. There's going to be violence. This is the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Fry.
Imagine if that city or that town was suddenly invaded by thousands of federal agents that do not share the values that you hold dear. Imagine if your daily routines were disrupted. If the local cafe that you eat at was shut down because they're scared that their own family might get torn apart. Imagine if schools shut down and suddenly parents got to figure out what to do for daycare.
Imagine if your city was invaded by thousands of federal agents who don't share your values. Imagine if your city was invaded by thousands of illegal immigrants who refuse to assimilate, who don't share your values. That's actually what's happened in Minneapolis, but they have pathologized virtue signaling here. This is the Illinois Attorney General.
There's a more intense situation on the ground in Minnesota right now, right? There's been a surge in Minnesota, and that's why my colleague, A.G. Ellison, went in requesting a temporary restraining order, and we did not. We are prepared to fully litigate this case and engage in discovery, and so facts, while there are similar facts on the ground in Minnesota and California and other jurisdictions that have been politically targeted by this administration, there are differences as well with regards to intensity.
You know why they're being politically targeted? They're being targeted because those states are sanctuary states. You're not having these problems in multiple states that have cooperated. In Atlanta, Georgia is run by a Democrat mayor, but they're cooperating with ICE. There's been no surge of ICE there. In Austin, Texas, a hyper-progressive city, they're not a sanctuary city. You're not seeing ICE surge there. The ICE is surging in Illinois and Minnesota because they have decided pathologically to be on the side of criminal illegal aliens instead of American citizens. They are more protective of the illegal aliens than they are their own citizens. And the president works for the citizens of the United States, not the illegal aliens. Now, it's so wackadoo in Minneapolis. I got Charlie to pull this clip of this introduction of this member of the Minneapolis City Council. You got to hear the introduction here.
The president has just amped things up, saying he is threatening to use the Insurrection Act if things do not calm down there in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. What is your response to that?
Yeah, so just first want to offer clarification. I am the city's first Black Democratic Socialist city council member, minority leader. I'm not a Democrat, so wanted to offer that clarification.
That's right. She's not a Democrat. She's a Democratic Socialist. She's a communist who's too chicken to call herself a communist. But now listen to what she actually has to say. And I do believe she has green hair.
I'm confused as to what bait is being taken. And I think what people on the ground hear when our Mayor Jacob Fry, say those type of things, or when our chief of police says, we need you to stand down. What people are hearing is stand down, don't take action. We're not going to take action either because our local leaders have not taken any action to actually protect their residents. We need you to stand down and allow ICE to do their jobs and do their jobs of shooting residents and expecting immunity, to profile residents during traffic stops or on their way to take the bus to get to work. We want to allow ICE agents to do that job. And residents justifiably for the past several weeks have said no. If elected leaders are not going to show up in this moment to protect and care for our neighbors, we will. And we will do so as seen in the video footage with whistles. Whistles from residents to federal law enforcement agents holding AK-47s should never be equated as the same level of violence or threat to our communities.
This woman doesn't want ICE to round up the illegal aliens. You know, we could solve the Iran situation right now if someone would just tell the Ayatollah that you could go open a child daycare center in Minneapolis, and not only would they protect you from the federal government, you would get to bleed the American taxpayers dry to the tune of billions of dollars. I mean, the Ayatollah and the poobahs of Iran could be billionaires in Minneapolis, complete with state protection from the American government, running empty child daycare centers. It's a good deal. Maybe we should offer it to them. While I'm talking to you, a video has just surfaced of a man parked in a parking lot in Minneapolis with driving a white SUV, and he has been surrounded by people in the parking lot who are convinced that he is an ICE agent because he's driving a white Chevy Tahoe. These are the sorts of people we are dealing with. These people have come unglued. And one of the things you need to understand here is that this is a deep pathology of the left. One wish to fight Donald Trump, and they believe it is virtuous to fight Donald Trump. They believe in some way that by fighting Donald Trump, they're bringing about utopia. It's a religious messianic zeal of progressives to fight the president of the United States, and they're attacking federal officers now. Again, I go back to 2016. It started in Minnesota, violence against police officers, shrill rhetoric from Democratic politicians in Minnesota wound up getting 8 police officers gunned down, 5 in Dallas, 3 in Baton Rouge just a few weeks later, as people turned violent on ICE, and they thought that they were doing good. They believed they were on the side of the righteous. And what has ICE done in Minneapolis? To the extent they've been able, without interference from the local government, they have rounded up pedophiles, child rapists, rapists of women, murderers, people charged and convicted of manslaughter, drug dealers, gangbangers, many of whom were in prison, and the local government wouldn't allow ICE to get them. Many of them then out of their prison sentences, and still having served their time and gotten out, they wouldn't hand them over to ICE. They continue to protect them. ICE is trying to save the citizens, not just of Minnesota, but of the country. These people aren't bound to Minnesota. There's no shock collar on them, shocking them if they get to the border of Minnesota and another state. They can go wherever they want, and ICE is trying to round them up where they know they are and get them out of the country or put them in prison. This is just it is insane to me. We are provoking people to try to murder ICE agents. And now on Renee Good, they're moving the goalposts. First it was he wasn't hit, and now it was just a bruise. First they said she was an innocent bystander dropping her kid off at school and got shot. Now they're saying, well, it was her right to obstruct ICE. First, they said the agents were sending mixed signals, telling her to get out of her car, or some, and others telling her to drive off. Nope, turns out the video shows it was her lesbian partner yelling, "Drive, baby, drive," and it was the ICE agents telling her to get out of her car. And now they're like, well, they were masked. She was intimidated. Of course she wanted to drive away. No, she was chatting with the ICE agents the whole time, ridiculing them, encouraging them to go away. She wasn't intimidated by them at all. She was honking her horn the whole time. They just keep moving the goalposts. They can't acknowledge this woman, unfortunately, brought this on herself, putting herself in the middle of it, and now they're using her death very ghoulishly to try to inspire people to murder ICE agents. The bottom line here is very simple. The reason ICE is in Minnesota, Illinois, and elsewhere is because those states chose to protect criminal illegal aliens over their citizens. And the president is sworn to protect the Constitution and the people of the United States. It is ICE that does deportations, not the military. He has sent in ICE. And now they're encouraging people to get violent against ICE. They can say they want peaceful protests all they want, but they're encouraging it with their language, with their rhetoric, calling ICE the Nazis, calling ICE the Gestapo, calling them an invading army. Last night, one ICE agent was attacked, set upon by people wielding shovels against him. And an ICE vehicle in Minneapolis was ripped apart by a crowd that got into the vehicle, opened the trunk, and used a truck to rip out the weapons locker of the ICE vehicle while the local police looked on and did nothing. The people of Minnesota are insurrecting. You can't look on what happened on January 6th and call that an insurrection without looking at this and saying this absolutely is an insurrection. They're attacking ICE agents. They're stealing ICE agents' weapons. The local government is calling on people to defend against ICE. They're calling ICE invaders, Nazis, Gestapo. They're getting into private systems and leaking the identities of not just ICE agents, but also their families and where they live. They're going to get people killed. And I don't think this ends well for the Democrats. It didn't in 2016. Donald Trump got elected when the violence from the left against police officers started getting police officers murdered. They think they've got a winning issue on this. Never underestimate the left's ability to overplay their hand, turn violent, get people killed, and have the American public recoil with horror and vote for the other side. I want to confess something. I actually am pretty terrible about daily Bible reading, and I need to get better. And one of the great things I have encountered is Glorify, and I'm glad to tell you about them. This episode's brought to you by Glorify. It's the #1 Christian daily devotional app, and it's helped me focus better on reading the Bible and diving into daily devotions and meditating on God's Word. And they've got great sleep meditations as well to help you wind down at night. I've enjoyed using the app, and I wanted to put it on your radar. I thought you might as well. You get full access to Glorify for just $29.99 for the entire year. That's Glorify's lowest price ever. You download the Glorify app now at glorify-app.com/Eric, E-R-I-C-K. Feel closer to God this year with Glorify. It'll help you get focused on Scripture. Get full access all year for just $29.99 at glorify-app.com/Eric. Hello there. We have not talked a lot about the Golden Globes. I don't think most of my audience cares one bit about a Hollywood party to celebrate Hollywood and insult half the country. But I think it's notable that more people were interested in the Pop-Tart Bowl than in the Golden Globes. That's right. More people wanted to watch the Pop-Tart Bowl, the football game, than bothered watching the Golden Globes. Can't blame them. Can you? I mean, it's basically you watch college players doing their best, or you watch Hollywood doing their best, and their best is to try to tear apart the country and insult half the audience. I used to love when I was a kid with my grandmother, we'd watch the Academy Awards, in particular the in memoriam section, see who all had died the prior year that we had forgotten about. And I don't watch any of it anymore. It's designed for people in an insular bubble with eating disorders and drug addictions who hate the country. So why bother? Football is the best of the country right now. The Pop-Tart Bowl, the Pop-Tarts themselves, they make it very entertaining. You know, you keep looking every year, there's more and more data how it's football games in this country, college and professional, are the most watched things on television, and the football overlords at the NFL hate us so much. We now have to have 1 billion streaming packages to be able to watch all the games. I hate it. There really should be a law on this. Get off my lawn. Let me tell you about Vision Computers. Vision Computers would love to work with you wherever you are in the country. If you own a business or you're just an individual and you need IT help, Vision can take care of you. They can build you computers. They can upgrade your computers. They can be your IT support. And Vision's IT support, hands down better than anything else you're going to experience because it's real people. It's not AI chatbots. 15 seconds or less, they're going to answer the phone. You get a special phone number you get to call if you do IT with Vision. For your whole company or just you individually, they can help you with email, printer, you name it. They can even remote in if need be to help you with your computer. They can help get you set up wherever you are nationwide. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. Or go to visioncomputers.com. If you call them at 404-COMPUTE, you say Eric sent you might save some more money. If you're a small business, you can't afford the in-house IT guy. Your employees probably don't want to do the AI chatbot. They'd like to talk to a human being. Vision does this. So if you're a dental office out in Sacramento and you want your employees to be able to be good at their jobs, not at their computers, reach out to Vision Computers at 404-COMPUTE. Same with you in Hartford, Connecticut. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Keep your employees going. Let Vision be great at technology. Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. I was sitting at In-Town Golf in Atlanta, Georgia last night, sitting at the bar. It normally takes about an hour and 20 minutes to get from Buckhead in North Atlanta to my house, and it took 3 hours last night because of weather, wet roads, wind, and wrecks. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to just sit here, wait for traffic to clear, and get my work done. So I was sitting there typing away, writing my newspaper columns, got an unlisted phone number. I will just say a senior White House official called me last night. Just had a brief chat talking about the Venezuela situation and also Iran. And I suspect, that the people are attacking the president saying he's taco. Trump always chickens out. That's what they started saying, is he taco. That Trump is tacoing on Iran. First, he said if they attack people, kill people, hang people, murder people, shoot them in the streets, that the United States will take action. And, well, then yesterday the president was asked about Iran, and he says this.
And we have some other little things to talk about. Maybe we'll start that first. Should I start that first? I think they're going to want me to. I have a feeling they're going to want me to. We have been notified and pretty strongly, but we'll find out what that all means. But we've been told that the killing in Iran is stopping, and it's stopped, and it's stopping. And there's no plan for executions or executions. So I've been told that on good authority. We'll find out about it. I'm sure if it happens, we'll all be very upset, including you will be very upset. But that's just gotten to me, some information that the killing has stopped, that the executions have stopped. They're not going to have an execution, which a lot of people were talking about for the last couple of days. Today was going to be the day of execution.
Now, allegedly, according to Al Jazeera, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates told Trump to give Iran another chance. Here's what I am being told by someone at the White House. The issue is what to do in Iran. You could blow up military bases, but it's the secret police, more or less, who are after the people. You target the secret police. Exactly how? You bomb the cities, you're killing the civilians too. So how do you do it? Are there ways to disrupt the internet? Are there ways to disrupt the banking system? Are there ways to disrupt payments to the military? At this point, the American assessment is that most of the people who are on the payroll of the Iranian regime are not real true believers. They're in it for the money. Overnight, 3 Iranian banks ran out of money. That's now 5 banks in Iran minimum that have collapsed. One of the banks that oddly ran out of money last night was the payroll processor for the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. Make of that what you will. Here's the thing the president knows, and I know the president knows this. In 2013, 2014, in the Arab Spring, or was it 2009? I can't remember now. Barack Obama gave voice to the Iranian people, and they went into the streets to try to overthrow the regime, and then Obama did nothing, and thousands of them were murdered by the Iranian regime. Now, the president of the United States has, on social media, and it made it into Iran, told the Iranian people to take to the streets and take over their institutions. And he also said to the Iranian people, help is on the way. That was what Donald Trump said to the Iranian people. Help is on the way. The president knows he can't now abandon the Iranian people because it will make him look like Barack Obama. A lot of Iranians needlessly died because they believed Barack Obama was a man of his word, and he wasn't. And Barack Obama and Donald Trump are not the same people. And Donald Trump wants to do what he can to help the Iranian people. Honestly, at this point, I don't know why we're not flying over Isfahan and Tehran and dropping out loaded guns and ammo into the crowds. Just fly over, drop off guns and ammo. Let the people fire back. I mean, there's an easy way to help the people is arm the protesters. Help arm the protesters. But there are also other things we can do, like destabilize the banking system further. There are other things we can do. We are imposing additional sanctions on Iran today. Interestingly enough, I want to read you this. Ali Ardeshir Larijani is a senior operative of the Islamic Republic's power structure. He openly threatens the United States, the military, members of the military. Interestingly enough, his daughter is a healthcare worker. She's a professor of medical oncology at Emory University in Atlanta. A senior figure of the Iranian regime who makes threats against the United States, and his daughter is inside the United States in Atlanta, Georgia, teaching and practicing medicine. It's kind of odd. And by the way, he's not alone. There are other Iranian revolutionary regime members whose kids are inside the United States and Canada, which is kind of wild. Kind of wild. How is it that we've got a rogue Iranian regime member whose kid teaches at Emory University in Atlanta? This is a wild situation. But all of this is to say, my sense is something is coming. Lindsey Graham has left the United States. He's headed to Israel to talk to Benjamin Netanyahu in person after having met with the President of the United States. Marco Rubio, of course, would like to do something. And by the way, this is a great way to destabilize Iran, or is destabilize China and Russia as well, because China and Russia are dependent, one, on Iranian oil and two, on Iranian drone technology. Remember, the Iranians had been building drones in Venezuela, and we captured a tanker that was trying to get the drone parts back to Iran. I'm just not sure the president is going to go taco. Maybe he does. Maybe he chickens out. But again, when you are the president of the United States of America and you come out and say help is on the way, and you want to keep your word, surely you do want to keep your word. Surely you do want to, make sure the Iranian people are not gunned down. And, you know, the Iranian regime is still murdering people. There's been a near total blackout now in Tehran. A lot of people are second guessing being in the streets because now there are rumors that help is not on the way and that the president has wound down doing anything. And my sense from this conversation I had last night is that that's not actually the case. And my sense of things is that what we are doing is we're putting together a more comprehensive plan. Now, interestingly enough, related to all of this, and if you get the show notes today, if you text Eric to 33777, you can get this in the show notes. This is from CBS News. In the mountains of northern Iraq, 30 miles from the Iranian border, CBS News met Thursday with fighters, many of them women, from an armed Kurdish Iranian opposition group who say they're poised to take on and help topple the Islamic Republic's hardline clerical rulers. The Democratic Party of Iranian Kurdistan is banned as a terror group inside Iran and based in exile across the border in Iraq. For years, it has trained for the day the Iranian regime can be ousted from power. But as President Trump appears to step back from threats of military intervention on behalf of Iran's protesters, the Kurdish group's leader told CBS News the time had not yet come. President Trump said Wednesday he heard it on good authority the killing in Iran has stopped and there were no plans for executions in the country. Sources inside Iran have told CBS News the Iranian authorities' crackdown may have killed upwards of 12,000 people, possibly more. Iranian protesters saying it's more like 20,000 people. The president's remarks appear to be a signal to step back from repeatedly warning of unspecified U.S. intervention to protect protesters. And then a threat on Tuesday to order very strong action if Iran hanged protesters. That may not have been the signal from Washington that the Kurdish Iranian forces training across the border were hoping for. Commander Sirin Gargoli told CBS News the protests had given them hope that the oppressive regime that came to power in 1979 may finally be toppled, but only if the people who are demonstrating in the streets get international help. The leader, Mustafa Hijri, has lived in exile for more than 4 decades. He's watched as Iran's rulers quash several rounds of major unrest. It depends on if the widespread killing will continue or not. If it continues, for sure, the demonstrators will not be able to continue. On the other hand, there are other possible scenarios, like America gets into negotiations with the regime and forces them to accept its conditions. In this case, the regime will manage to extend its existence for some time. The Kurds were hoping for American intervention and are sad to hear what sounds like the President of the United States deciding not to engage. Time is running out on the Iranian regime. Their banks have now 3 more of them collapsed overnight. It is clear the regime is crumbling and running out of money. And if it can't pay its mercenary supporters to protect them from the people of Iran, it begins to fundamentally destabilize that regime. Again, my sense is still that something is probably coming. We're just trying to figure out the maximum way to leverage what's happening. The reason is because, as I said again, what I have been told is that there's no point in blowing up the military bases because the military bases in Iran are not actually in play right now. It's the secret police, it's people in the cities. You start trying to blow them up in the cities, you're going to kill a lot of civilians. So what do? There would be really a lot of comparisons to both Obama and Biden if Donald Trump walked away from the people of Iran after telling them help is on the way. It is very clear that the Iranian regime is still murdering its people. We shouldn't be listening to Qatar. Qatar is an agent of the Iranian regime. One of the problems that the Wall Street Journal says the president is having is he has stationed so much of the Navy in the Gulf of Mexico, it limits our ability to do things in the Middle East. It's a true problem. There is an aircraft carrier and fleet headed from the South China Sea to Iran. It's going to take them some time to get there. We have a guided missile destroyer parked in the Persian Gulf right now, ready for action. It looks like we're just putting pieces in place. So I'm not willing yet to say the president is chickening out. Trump always chickens out. I'm not willing to say that. I'm willing to think, given where Lindsey Graham is going, what's headed into the Middle East from the South China Sea and other things, that we may be getting ready for something. But I would also note that the word on the street from Iran tonight is that the protesters are now scared. They may not be getting the support they hoped from the Americans, and a lot of them have already died, and many of them aren't sure it's worth putting their lives on the line if the president who told them to get in the streets, take over the institutions, and help us on the way is waffling. So the president probably does at some point need to send some signal to the protesters that we are going to do something, even if it is, again, fly a stealth bomber over, drop out a bunch of guns loaded with ammunition, and let the protesters arm themselves. I realize that's a pipe dream of mine, but still, the protesters need to be able to shoot back. So smuggling guns and ammo to them would actually be a very useful thing to do if we could do it. 877-973-7425 should you wish to be on the program. It is Eric Erickson here. This hour of the program is brought to you by Van Allen Golf. I plan on going to hit golf balls this afternoon, and we'll be using my Van Allen Golf. But y'all, the putter really is good. If you're into golf at all, you really do need to check them out. It is the milling, everything, the fit, the weight, the balance. The putter is the most important piece of equipment in your golf bag because everything else is so dependent on your swing, and the putter does most of the work on the putting, and it's phenomenal. VanAllenGolf.com is the website. Text golf to 33777. I'll send you the link. Van Allen, ALLEN, VanAllenGolf.com. oldglorybank.com. This is breaking news happening right now. There is a heavy police presence surrounding Central Park Recreation Center in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a warming facility. Multiple people appear to be shot, according to Breaking 911. We will keep an eye on this situation as whatever details are coming in. We will let you know. Meanwhile, it's going to be very cold here in the South. Speaking of warming centers and like, y'all, it's supposed to like snow in mine. And I'm south of Atlanta, and we're getting snow in the forecast overnight Saturday. And I was really ready for the hot to go away, but I don't know that I want this much cold out there. It's frigid. My son got a flat tire yesterday, and I had to drop his car off this morning to get the tire replaced, get it patched if they couldn't, get the tire patched or replaced if they couldn't. And I had to walk 4 blocks from the tire place to my office. And I texted my family and said, when the winter is over and everything thaws, please find my body and give me a proper burial. I'm pretty sure I'm going to die of hypothermia on the way to the office. It was cold this morning. There was ice on the roads and in the shadows. It's cold. And those of you up north, it's even worse. I am not a cold weather person. I may be half Swedish, but I grew up in the Middle East. So nonetheless, we got more stuff to talk about. When we come back, we've got to talk about the president's foreign policy, putting this into a bigger picture for you. But there's also a big win from the president for the president. It's a major win. He's been trying to deport Mahmoud Khalid, the Columbia University grad student. And if you'll recall, a federal judge told him he couldn't. Well, in a 2-1 panel from the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, they've decided that the federal district court had no jurisdiction over the deportation matter. And in fact, the president of the United States can deport Mahmoud Khalil. It's a per curiam decision that determines that the president of the United States has the power of deportation, and the district court, based on the provisions on which the president chose to deport the guy, has no say over the matter. The immigration laws enacted by Congress ordinarily require an alien to challenge his deportation unless he raises questions that a court of appeals cannot meaningfully review. The scheme ensures the petitioners just one bite at the apple, but it also means that some petitioners like Khalil will have to wait to seek relief for unlawful government action and cannot do it here. There we go. Now, let me tell you about Old Glory Bank, my bank. They'd love to be your bank. If you go to oldglorybank.com/Eric today, oldglorybank.com/ERICK, you can get a no-fee checking or savings account. You can get a premium account. You can get a business account. You can get a custodial account for your kids, mortgages, CDs. They're a full-service bank headquartered in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, a wonderful place I'm planning to get to this year. And they're an online bank. Don't let the online part deter you. I've been able to deposit cash at Old Glory Bank with their very innovative app. They've got great bill pay, all the tools you need. If you're a business, they really, really take the time to get to know you as a business so that when the time comes that you need lending, they're able to engage with you and understand your business to be able to help you as best they can. Reach out to them, oldglorybank.com/Eric. If you're in a conservative field, they're going to protect you as a bank. Oldglorybank.com/Eric, oldglorybank.com/ERICK, member FDIC, equal housing lender.